Hey, this is Tamago. Welcome back to Automation Nation. For the last two episodes, we have gotten started in a Modpack, just basically getting stuff going with the basics as well as some food from Farmer's Delight. So I think it's about time that we get into the main thing of the Modpack, which is some technology. In between episodes, I did go strip mining, and it is much easier in this Modpack because we have vein mining, so we can dig those tunnels very quickly despite only having a stone pickaxe in Deep Slate. Unfortunately, I did die in lava, as you can see with the death thing, but we have the gravestones in this mod, so it's just about retrieving the gravestone by, for example, putting gravel to cover up the lava. But the result is very good, as you see over here, a lot of ores and some diamonds, which is important, so we can go to the nether to progress. And you, of course, have nice building blocks over here. Okay, let's get started with the create line then. So there's two options over here to just a beginner's tutorial or an expert tutorial. I'm going to go with the beginner's one because I'm not super familiar with create. I have done a lot of it in, well, not too much in the Legend of the Ice, but I still don't feel too confident in it. So let's just go with things step by step. And this quest over here is just letting us know about the ponder feature of create. It's very helpful. We'll see a bit of that later. But the very first thing is to create some shafts. So create does not run off electricity, but instead out of stress units. So we need to transfer rotation all around, and shafts is one way to do that. So over here, we just need to have some iron nuggets and andesite to have some andesite alloys so we could craft those. So we already have some andesite alloy over here, some leftover iron nuggets, and I do believe we have some andesite here. Yeah, plenty actually. There it is. Let's just craft a bunch of these because I know we will be needing plenty of these over time. Okay, let's try to get 32 as they ask us to, like so. Next up is teaching us about some cogs. So there are different sizes. I think there's just two in if I remember correctly. So the idea is by intertwining these, we can go from slower to faster speeds at the expense of less stress units. So it depends on what we need. Okay, so these are crafted with some wood, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, buttons. Okay. And the large ones are made with buttons and some planks. We have plenty of jungle wood, so I think that is what we will be using. I think it doesn't want too many gears. All right, so 16 gears, so 2 of these. And I think it just wants 2 sets of the large ones, if I'm not mistaken. The buttons do get used up quite quickly. All right, there you go. There's the quest. And now over here, it is letting us know of the hand crank. This is a very early source of energy. So it's crafted very simply. And this is how we start to power stuff. Let's place some cogwheels on the ground or on a wall, I guess. And you can see if I put that over here, I can right click this to spin it around and shift right click this to spin it the other way around. And it does consume hunger. So that's the, I guess, fuel for this rotational power. Next up is asking us to make some casing, which encases some stuff around, namely belts and whatnot. Oh, I should show you the ponder thing. If you just hold W, you can see what it is, what I'm talking about. So it could be used for decoration and D for next. There you go. And again, more decorations over here as you see. And wrenches can be used to remove the casings. Okay, so it wants 2 sets of those. All right, here comes our first machine, namely the press. This is made with some cogs, a block of iron, and a casing. So I don't know if I have enough iron. Oh, we do. Okay. All right, there is our first machine. And with the press, we could make some sheets. So this one, we don't really need any gears for now. We could just directly power it as we wish, like this. You know, we just place that down there and smelt some ingots. Or actually, we might actually have exactly enough. Yep, so 5 of each. And if we just yoink this over here and start spinning, we shall get our plates one by one. It does one at a time. Okay, it's the iron ones. Here comes the copper ones. So just repeat this for the rest. You can already see that this is a lawn base evolving, but we're going to go with this in the early game just to get us started. And last but not least, we have the gold plates. I'm pretty sure these are used in components in the future. That's why we need them. Okay, very well. Now, of course, you might notice that that is very painful, just cranking away for power. There are power sources in Create, and it shows us 3 of them. Water wheels is one of my favorite early ones. It is messy as it notes, but it's very easy to set up. Make sure that the blades are facing the right way over here. So over here, the water is pushing the blades. Okay, so it's a bunch of slabs and a large cogwheel. No problem. We got our water wheel like so. My inventory is also full. All right, to start, I guess we could make this our create backyard. I think there is plenty enough space just to avoid the cave. So let me just place this down. Looks like this. So in this case, the water should be flowing that way. So I think if we just leave the water over here, this should be good to go. So place it over there. And as you can see, it starts spinning. And we can have multiple of these in a row, which is probably a good idea. I'll do that in a second. All right, let's have 3 in a row to start. All right, there you have the setup like so. Okay, next one is another source of power. It's a bit more elegant here. It's just 2 blocks, which is the Encased Fan. This one needs some iron plates, as you see over here. All right, here comes the Encased Fan. We first need to make the propeller. And then I think we have everything. Yes, we do. Okay. And I do happen to have a bucket of lava. I grabbed one when I was down there. And I'm not sure how I want to generate my heat sources yet, to be honest. But I guess we can place a lava bucket somewhere over here. Just need to be careful of burning stuff up. So I place some cobble over here. Hopefully we'll be okay. But yeah, we just place this over here. And this thing needs to face up, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it might be a good idea to place down the Encased Fan first and then the lava bucket. So the arrow must be pointing towards the heat source. I might actually bring this just 1 block up so it's a bit easier to pull out the source. Goodness me, the grass is messing up my placement. There you go, like so. And I can place down the stuff around it. Or actually, let me place that down first, and then get rid of that. And then we need to apply redstone power for this to start spinning, like so. And there you go, it's spinning very slowly. You can see why the water wheels are quite nice over here. I can just place that over here and it's all good to go. There are no directions that I need to change, basically. Last but not least, we have the windmill. I have good memories of this because I am unable to make one that looks nice. So it seems that we just need a bit of wool and these sail frames. So a bunch of andesite alloys. So the quest over here wants us to make 16. So that's 2 sets of this. Okay, so it looks like that with 2 alloys. And then we need 2 pieces of wool to get our sails. Very nice. Not the business sails, but that sail. And we need the windmill bearing, which requires some kind of polished stone. I am lazy, so I'm just gonna get polished diorite. Like so. And we also need a turntable, like that. And then we should be able to piece all of this together. That, a turntable, and a shaft. There you go. There's our windmill bearing. Because I cannot make nice looking sails, typically what I just do... Oh, that's not the right way. I'm pretty sure if you press shift, it changes the direction you place things in. Yeah, there you go. All right. And I think I'm just going to do something like this, where it's more like a turbine instead of sails. So I think if I just place things in this direction, it's hard to get the first one right. But once you place it down, you can use all these other guiding stuff to place the rest. Okay, there you go. And you just right click with an empty hand and now it starts spinning. And the rotational power comes from down here, as you see. And after we get some power sources going, it asks us to make a wrench, which is very useful. It allows us to break stuff and configure stuff. So yeah, it's very, very helpful. All right, and now it is teaching us about the gearbox. You might already see some issues before with not being able to transfer power in the right direction because we have some horizontal ones, some vertical ones, and so on. So they are very, very easy to make. Just some cogs and that's it. And if we place it down, you can see there is some from different directions, 4 directions actually. A nice complementary tool besides the wrench is also the engineer's goggles, which will allow us to look at stress units because yeah, it's really hard to figure them out without them. So this requires 2 glass, a couple pieces of string, just 1, which we should have, question mark, or I guess we can use these industrial hemp fibers to create string. Was it 3? Yeah, it was. Okay, cool. And this should give us our, what do you call it, goggles, which you can put in our bauble slot. Why is there so much information? Okay, I guess it just tells us the different things it will show us when wearing it. And we do have baubles here, so we could just place it over here somewhere. Or I guess not. Okay, that's good to know. So yeah, we just have to take off our helmet when doing this, which is fine, I think. Look pretty cool in it. And yeah, I just got speed because have a bit more food diversity. But yeah, as you can see our stress units. We have 96 over here, 64 over here, and 1000 over here. So a lot of stress units. All right, and we finally get into ore doubling, which is why I haven't processed anything or try to avoid it as much as possible. Because we can actually double ores with the millstone over here in this automated setup. So it just crushes it into a crushed version that we can smelt. Okay, the millstone is made with those ingredients. Not so bad. And let's just set it up directly the way they say. So we can have one large cogwheel over here, one millstone right next to it. I don't know how many blocks we have to move it. Okay, we can place it in this corner over here. Oh, shoot, that's not good. Okay. No, I really don't like messing with lava. Okay, yeah, it's something I have to be careful of because I have no visibility towards that thing. Okay, so if we just raise this up a bit, there you go. It starts to spin, and we can extract this to through hoppers down here. All right, and here comes a very basic setup. So I place a chest under here and a hopper to take the stuff out, and on the top we have another chest. Oh. Okay, the lava's gonna cause a bit of a mess with it. Okay, hopefully it won't be that bad. Anyway, we can place our ore over here. So for example, we have our iron and it's gonna crush it for us. Very nice, as you can see over here. Okay, and it wants us some kind of crushed ore as the next quest. And over here, it is just advising us that it might take a while, so we can use the chunk holder once again. And we can speed it up if we're able to speed up these cogs, which is something we might look into. Okay, and we also need to address this fire issue. And perhaps I might change this up to a campfire so I don't have to deal with all the fire. Let's see. It might be a better idea over here. Okay. All right, just like that. Now we don't have to have these surrounding things. And I think I'll have lower SU. Yeah, half of it. But I am willing to take that without so I don't have to deal with all of that stuff. Or actually, if we speed this up, we can try to get a faster speed. Let's see how this goes. And I've already forgotten how to increase the speed of cogs. Isn't this the way? All right, I just looked it up and this is the way. So we have a big gear and then a small gear. And then we just attach this to a big gear so it forces the big gear to spin at that speed. And then we attach it to another small gear which spins a bit faster and we attach another big gear. And I think if we just place this over here at the corner. Ah, we are overstressed. Okay, that's not enough power. Let's see if this one would be happy with just 2. All right, so the chest goes here, the hopper goes over here, and then we have our millstone up here. Yep, there you go. It's working fine. And this should go a bit faster than before. So we put our stuff over here again, and let's see how fast this goes. Okay, I think it's still going relatively slow, but it's making its way. All right, and now we have the half a stack of crushed ore that the quest wants. All right, next up is the encased fan again, but in this case it is to clean up some of the dust that we had before, that we had just crushed. So it does have 2 purposes, which is quite cool, I think. So we need some more iron plates. Fortunately, we already have this thing running, so we just throw it under here, and it will do its thing, slowly. All right, we get the propeller, and then we get the fan, like so. And then over here, it is just telling us we can have it set up like this. So we can have the fan blowing this way. And then we can have some iron, but that is not facing the right direction. So I think shift click to reverse it. No, not that way. Or I think this whole thing is facing the wrong direction. Or I mean like, sorry, this thing is rotating clockwise and it should be rotating counterclockwise. So I think if we just add another cog over here, that should solve the problem. There you go. Very, very nice. All right, we've got enough iron over here to make our iron bars, like so. And then if we just take some of this water and then just have a bit of a shell around this thing, like so. And then if we just place a block right in front of it, or I guess leaving 1 block of space so we could actually throw stuff over, like so. Then we can place our dust and, the crushed things, and it should get washed slowly. And this should give us nuggets, it says. Right, so, oops, I should just leave it like so. And it's wanting us to give this a try to get 200 nuggets. And we see the white particle starting to form, so it is slowly washing this away. And there you go. That was very quick. Okay, very, very nice. And yeah, that just all turned into nuggets. So we can place our crafting table over here, and then we can have our, our iron bars, ingots, there, that's what it's called. And there you go, very, very nice, 35 iron ingots. And all of this is done without smelting anything. So yeah, that saves on fuel, I guess. Well, actually, there's still more. Missed it. Okay. There you go. That's almost a stack. Wow. That is that more than ore doubling? I don't know. That's very, very good. Or actually, the mill will only give us 1 crushed iron ore. And this is what doubles it. Or roughly, I guess. Very, very nice. And there you go. That is the basic introduction to Create completed. And that will open a bunch of mini clusters. There goes a bunch of them to help us do many other things in Create. Because yeah, Create has many other things you could do. But this is just a start, y'all. But yeah, that is the basics of Create done and finishes off this episode. Let me know what you think of the shorter style episodes that are more topical, I suppose. And it also allows me to release videos more frequently. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. And as always, God bless.